Welcome back to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, where last time we were making our escape from the dark city of Cormorant, a city in the Webway, developed by the Eldari, that is the home of the Drukari. We had been captured by them. Now we are making our escape with all of our companions, as well as a newly befriended Spess Marine by the name of Ulfar. We had kind of just gone through several bouts with the arena when the Harlequins attacked it and allowed for us to escape. Yeah, we made our way out onto like the balcony of this spire, and found two Drukari captives. They're kind of, I guess, bound a bit. A cautious pilot and a bold pilot. And yeah, we told them that we needed to get to the top of the spire so that we could do escape. One of them was quite uncooperative, so the other one pushed him off the ledge of the balcony into the pits of the city below. And the other guy was like, hey, want me to bring you? And I'm like, no. Reloaded to save, and then just had Iralet drive the gondola up for us, because she can do that. She knows how they work. So yeah, much further up the spire now. We kind of reunite with Argenta. Yeah, we enter the summit of the spire. We kind of go in, disable a few traps, and find a Farseer in a great amount of pain. Through some notes, we discovered that basically they have had two other Farseer's hearts and organs like implanted into them, as a homunculus experimenter is kind of trying to find ways to enhance people's psychic abilities, and apparently grafting together multiple psychers seems to actually have some results, albeit very temporarily, as in like minutes at a time before like the experimentee expires, and the homunculus has to kind of revive them. We also found a chessboard that had the spirit of an Eldari in it. They had been like flesh warped, basically. It started communicating with Iralet, kind of mentally, and Iralet, and basically trying to guilt trip Iralet. And we're like, hey, stop that. But also, we'll try to see if we can find a way to fix you, and get you a new body or something. And yeah, then we found this vat that had a guy suspended in it. We looked at the buttons, had Pascal examine them, and his conclusion was the best way to open the vat would be to just destroy it. We had the option to press buttons, but decided not to. So yeah, we destroyed the vat. The guy was kind of so tortured that he so thoroughly tortured that he kind of wasn't cognizant of what was going on around him, and he kind of kept referring to us as Mashta. Found it weird that we weren't torturing him, and yeah, we mentioned the we mentioned Kudarak and whatnot, and then some clarity returned to him, and then he recognized Irlet, and then immediately died before he could really tell us anything. And yeah, after that, we came across some disciples of pain and some like crazed experiments. Had to defeat them, and afterwards, a voice kind of came out from a pod up in the air that we had to kind of bring down by activating some buttons, and exiting from the pod was Iklandil, who we learned was one of the Aldari Craft World council members of Krudarak, and he basically told us what happened to Krudarak. Basically, they had a run-in with Theodora, with Theodora's ship, and managed to fend them off, but then a shuttle or something kind of collided with the craft world that had like a bunch of diseased bodies on it, and then the infection kind of spread throughout the craft world, and yeah, they decided the council decided to like evacuate people into shuttles, and then those shuttles then got attacked by the Drukhari and captured. But the whole reason why they had come to the Cornus Expanse in the first place was because they had some sort of prophecy. And as they were making their way to the Cornus Expanse, those prophecies started to turn dark, and darker and darker. But they had the chance to either like fuck off and go somewhere else, or to continue going. But their options were very limited, as they were kind of like, I guess, warp storms going on. I don't know, webway storms. I don't fucking know. Going on that were kind of limiting their route. And after a council meeting, Eklundil was the deciding vote, and he decided to just go with the initial prophecies of like them being able to find prosperity in the Cornus Expanse, only for them to, once they got there, be attacked by Lady Theodora and then the Drukhari, and yeah. Yeah, we then agreed to take him out of the webway with us, and he would help us open up a webway gate if we needed it. Though Irlet was like, I can do that. Yeah, we needed a webway resonance device, which we had found amongst the nearby in a container. And yeah, we made our way further up the spire. We faced off with some more Drukhari before eventually we came to the little room where Tervantius was. Tervantius being a homunculus. He was at this thing called like a psi stifler or something, which was used to basically kind of prevent warp creatures from being able to enter the webway. And he was fiddling it and making modifications to it And Pascal kind of noted that, like, oh, this structure was not made by Tervantius. He's just kind of further modifying it, which Tervantius took offense to. As he's like, no, this is my masterpiece. Yeah, we had the option of destroying Tervantius and the device, which, according to Irlet, would cause or allow for warp creatures to enter into the webway and basically attack Cormorog. Um, she advised against that. And I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that either. Because my character is not genocidal. Yeah, so we also learned from Tervantius that he was the one responsible for the missing stars. So, like, way back at the beginning of the game, the star around Rykad Minoris got, and Major, Rykad, there we go. The Rykadi star had gotten, like, stolen by Drakari. Right? So he was the one responsible for that. As his stifler thing, or whatever, kind of needed, like, starry amounts of power. Yeah, we told him, like, alright, until we meet again, it'll be our last meeting. See you, Tervantius. We left. Kind of keeping him alive, because we didn't want to commit genocide. Like, yeah, we went on to the next room, which led us to the webway gate, and we met with Iramiris, like the Archon that had kind of led to Marazai's downfall. Like, sinuses have started acting up. And yeah, we fought her, basically. As well as a bunch of her incubus guards and grotesques, and they were like gondolas that carried people in mid-fight, but we utterly decimated them. Just horribly decimated. And yeah, we then went through, activated the webway gate, went through it, and it led us to Janus, where we met Maurin, who was at first very accusatory of us, like what the fuck are you doing with this, like, webway gate? You gonna attack us or some shit? And we were like, no, we just made our way out of Cormorag, and it's like, oh shit. And then yeah, we kind of spoke with him about some things. Got an update on Janus. We learned that the planet has kind of been giving some humans the blessing of the planet. But of course the humans have been like, mutants! And killing them. But yeah, and they were quite surprised by the fact that Janus was giving the humans, like, its blessing. Yeah, he rather imperiously told Irelek that some of their kind, they had, like, the Eldori had kind of been consolidating their forces, right? And they informed him that a bunch of them had basically gone missing somewhere. He didn't tell us where they were, but yeah, Irlet basically asked us to help, and I'm like, sure. And then we also, like, we're like, and then here's Eklundil. And he's like, ah, good. Eklundil stayed with Maurin while we went back to our ship. And on the ship, we then had a load of scenes that happened. The first of which was just us uniting with the group. And they started asking, like, what the fuck happened? We had the option of kind of throwing Irlet on the bus, which we initially took just to see what would happen. But it wasn't good. They started calling her scum and like reload. And then we picked another option, which is like, hey, like Drakari tried to kill me. Their plan failed, but I'm back. Are you with me? And they were like, hell yeah. And then like Heinrich, Jay, Adira were kind of all like, hey, can I speak with you privately afterwards? And I'm like, sure, to all of them. And then, yeah, cut to us being in our private chambers. Heinrich was kind of questioning us about what happened. He was getting slowly, like, he was very frantic and pale, and he's like, you escaped from Cormorag. Like, no one ever escapes from Cormorag. Are you sure you're okay? I'm like, I'm fine, but, like, you're freaking out. And then he fucking went in for a kiss. I'm like, no. Already in a relationship, slapped him, and that kind of made him come back to his senses, and definitely put me off of his romance path. So that scene ended. Then, I don't quite remember the order of scenes. Adira came to us, told us about how she had this vision, or she kept having this like repeating vision of this door that, like, when she tries to open it, she kind of wakes up, and she is convinced that um, that that if she were to find this door, it would help her with her psychic powers not going like wild and whatnot. And we're like, all right, we'll help you find this door. Danric approached us in the throne room to inform us that he had been investigating Jay Hadari and learned out that it's a false identity, basically. And yeah, we learned that she had been spending a great amount of money from the ship's coffers in order to try and find us. And yeah, we brought her forward. She came forward and basically confessed to, like, yeah, I've been using a false identity this entire time. She was apparently she was from the Fleet, but she was part of the Astra Militarum, forcibly drafted, and eventually deserted as she got involved in smuggling while in the military and basically got caught and deserted, and then went full like cold trader after that. Close my window. Nose started getting stuffy after I opened my window. Wonder if I'm like developing allergies. All right. And yeah, she basically dropped the act and told us more about her actual backstory. And we were just like, yeah, you could have just told me. I would have accepted that. Get back to your duties. Basically, was the gist of it. And yeah. What else? I know we had a few more meetings. I know we had a second meeting with Heinrich. Trying to remember what that one was all about. I don't quite remember. But then we had a I don't remember what the second meeting with Heinrich was about. But anyways, um, we then had a meeting with kind of like the the senior officers. I factotum, dude, like Janrik, Voxmaster, Vigdis, and Helmsman, Ravor, and they basically informed us what's been going on. They searched for us, but could not find us at all. Um, in the meantime, there have been Drukhari raids, as though like the Beehive had been like poked at. Um, some planet was attacked. I think it was like Vabos or something. Um, and yeah, um, basically got all of our main quests. We learned that there's basically an all-out war between rogue traders Incendia, Corda, and Caligos Winterscale. Um, and the Lord Inquisitor, Kaukazar, has basically taken up the mantle of Commandant of the Cornus Expanse and is fighting against, like, Warp and Drukhari forces that are attacking. Incendia Corda sided with him. Calicos ignored it, and then Incendia basically used that as a pretext for attacking Winterscale territory. And yeah, afterwards, we then had a scene where Heinrich, Argenta, and Ulfar there, just kind of for fun, uh, came up with Irelet, wanting to like punish or execute her, because I guess they had at some point learned that she was the one who uh, led to her capture in her moment of distrust for us. And I was like, yeah, no, fuck you guys. She's fine. She's chill. Don't fucking question me. And they were like, what the fuck? And yeah. All right, before we get started, though, I'm gonna get a fucking tissue. BRB. Nose blown. Okay. Let's continue. Here we go. All right. I know again. The throw on this cogitator will drive me crazy one day. A pet. Imposing armillary spheres designed to show the position of celestial bodies within the current system. Your ladyship. This binocular observation mechanism allows the Lord Captain to calibrate macro cannon fire directly from the bridge should she see fit to take personal command when defending the ship from the many threats of the void. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Oh, actually have news? What the fuck? Have the Vox Spirits brought you anything interesting lately? We're 4 acts into this game, and we have finally gotten news of something. Perhaps you would be interested in a Vox transmission I intercepted not long ago, Lord Captain. The thoroughly encrypted message contained the coordinates of a landing site on a certain planet marked as rare cargo. I have not been able to uncover anything else, but I believe the encryption was intended for those who are involved in unsanctioned trade activities. Another one. A multitude of scout ships tirelessly explore the expanse in search of new resource deposits, but unfortunately not all of them represent the interests of the von Valankius dynasty. I occasionally intercept Vox transmissions from ships prowling in your domain in search of easy loot. An asteroid the size of a small planet has been discovered in the Sardo's tomb system, and the prospectors believe there may be wealth of resources hidden under the crust. I feel like that's gonna be, and it's 100% gonna be fucking Necrons. And then a blank thing, but apparently gave rise to a rumor. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Lord Captain. Testing forward shields. Confirm receipts of instructions. Do you copy? There's just a statue towers over the bridge akin to a benevolent guardian watching over the crew.
Greetings.
You're let. Aww. Understand the purpose of the bizarre prism found in Cormorant. The researchers were lucky to activate the object only once, and unfurling in an array of petals. The prism reproduced the holographic image and coordinates of an ice planet in Legrand's belt before snapping shut once more. Where the raid was sent, the system went silent. Not a single ship has come. According to pilgrims on footfall, one world near a cold star in the Cineris Maleficum reached such spiritual heights that the emperor raised up all of its people to join him in his halls. And then we got those. Okay. Your lordship.
Words cannot I have enjoyed.
Ulfar.
Broke free the bold from captors grasping. Dark cities, feeble dungeons, eternally disgracing. Flows now this saga in the hall of glorious feasting, where all extol the wolf mighty, and the yet fatter cunning.
Thunderous laughter. The giant warrior triumphantly roars.
I hope you're not going to put off the feast. Our escape demands a grand celebration.
After clearing his throat, Ulfar adds in a more ordinary voice. What are you planning to do with your newly acquired freedom?
Find my pack. As we speak, they are likely performing some bloody service for Calcazar. For that reason, I want to have a word with the Inquisitor.
Okay.
Fenris Hjulda, et fater.
Sort of this sharp-sighted omniscope can reveal the dim light of distant stars to one who has the courage to plot a course to unexplored systems and illuminate the darkness therein. The indicator lumens need to be replaced again. Can our shuttle pilots even land their craft without unnecessary damage?
Lord Captain.
Yeah.
Lord Captain.
That's over there.
To what do I owe this visit?
Oh, almost.
The Dark City released us from its thorny embrace. The wounds of the body will heal. But what about the wounds of the soul? Cruderock fell, and its demise shattered the fragile lives of countless children of Osirian. Scattered across this part of the galaxy, hounded by the monkey, Pursued by the Dark Cousins. Imprisoned by the servants of She Who Thirsts. Hatred is strangling me like a snake, and fear is coursing through my body like a burning poison. For the path I chose is leading me down the roads of failure. I can neither hold back my grief, nor rein in my anger. And yet, I am powerless to stray from my path. Pay no heed to my fleeting wrath, Alantark. When the will slips away, the soul trembles with rampant emotions. But I will resign my heart to meekness, for there is no other way a marked outcast can help their fellow Eldari wandering in the dark.
I have to read the last narration. Erla's hand brushes against the crimson stone embedded in her chest plate. She stifles a brief sob and casts a grief-stricken glance at you, and then her face turns implacable once again. Many terrible things happen in Comrag. Are you alright?
I found myself in the Dark City after following the twisted roads of truth and lies. And although the truth blossomed like an ugly bud and scratched my soul with its thorns, I did find the answers to my questions. Those who come back from the dark of the webway will never be the same. But it is we who change while the surrounding world remains imminent. This thought gives me strength.
He lets words fall quietly, almost weightlessly. Okay. Battered, but not broken. Kruderak suffered an unenviable fate. Sorry, your world is lost.
I have no need for your sympathy, Alantark. Besides, neither Monkey nor my dark kin found the decaying remnants of Kruderak. Perhaps all is not lost. Perhaps we may yet bring back what has been taken.
Charlotte's gaze dimly wanders the bridge, but the corners of her lips twitch traitorously upward, and her features soften. What will happen to the seer now?
Clendil chose to stay on the Lilithon together with Muaran and the rest of our kinsmen. Perhaps it is for the best. The stars in this part of the galaxy are hostile to the children of Asurian.
Yeah, they are. So where does the path of the outcast lead you now?
On the trail of a monkey called Caligos Winterscale. Even a worm may harm a wounded tiger by bringing infection into an open wound. And the wounds of my people have been bleeding ever since Kruderak's demise. The spirits of my kin need a poultice, a hope, not the executioner's sword already poised to fall.
Mm-hmm.
You may try.
The unblinking gaze of the servitor gargoyle is fixed on you. Nomos are here. What do you want to talk about? You read the data bank recovered from Theodora's cache, and then you said the incident marked the beginning of Nomos. What did you mean by that? Yes, Nomos, remember? You brought us data sustenance, and it contained a name, Epitaph. We recognized it. No, not like that. In that name, we recognized the place where Nomos originate. What have you been doing, Nomos? We have been studying and observing, and helping the ship when we can. So many mechanisms. They would have suffered without our input. Okay. Alright. The high factotum Janris Danric greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? I wish to hear news about the Protectorate, to keep apprised of things. Ah, one-way road. We discovered a world that is home to a long-abandoned colony founded centuries ago by one of your predecessors. A ship was sent there, carrying several thousand colonists who were to restore the derelict settlement. After the ship entered its system of destination, contact was lost with it, and its fate remains unknown. Perhaps you might like to investigate the disappearances of that vessel personally. Elusive plunderers. Besides, your ladyship, pirates have been a serious problem for your domain. For centuries, a group of bandits, headed by a ship called the Elusive Contempt, has been raiding cargo vessels on their way from the Protectorate's most plentiful extractia. Their ability to deftly escape pursuit by patrols has allowed them to operate with complete impunity. The pirates' flagship has been spotted in a nearby system. Your ship, Lord Captain, is sufficiently powerful to finally chase down those brazen scoundrels and bring them to justice. The Astropathic Choir has received a series of alarming messages concerning the Narmer 4 system, where a dangerous space anomaly has supposedly manifested itself. Its nature is unknown, but the fabric of space within the system is reported to be curved and unstable. It is said that any ship entering the region disappears without trace. I believe we ought to be prudent and steer clear of that system. Visions in the dark. Factotum hesitates, as if unsure that what he has to say is worthy of your attention. Forewarning. There is something else, Lord Captain. The ship's astropaths have caught echoes of alarming messages. Unidentified ships abandoned by their crews have been spotted in several systems of the Expanse. It may only be a rumor, but those who encounter them have gone missing without trace. That is all, your ladyship. Like they order some things. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. I don't remember getting all this shit. We're at level 9. Understand, but we're not rich enough. Oh, shit. Four short burning melter torpedoes. 27 damage. Ultimo ray. Five and fore and aft. Okay. All right. Okay. Heretic trophy. Honestly, not that expensive. $24. And just go up by like what, 2? Omni Saya symbol. Plus 20 tech use and plus 20 logic. They can also reroll failed tech use or relogic, like test once. Yo, that's really good. Holy shit. I want it. We're not rich enough though. Solar staff. Power level 10. Reject the flesh. Skitari Ranger armor. Ooh, I like this Skitari look. I was looking at minis the other day, and I like this Skitari minis. The temptation to just start buying minis is great. Okay. Jewelry. Cloak of Hatred. Each enemy killed by the wearer's area attacks increase the wearer's damage by 3% until the end of combat. Wearer's nearest ally gains temp. Notes on weaknesses. Scout armor. I like pirates more. Jesus, I have a lot of Xeno artifacts. Holy crap. That makes sense, actually. Makes sense why I would. I just literally came from... Holy crap. From an entire city of Xenos. Swashbuckler. Whenever the wearer has 2 melee weapons equipped, they gain plus 10 weapon skill and plus 15 crit damage. About the charge. Harvest discard. Canopy of the Assassin. Each round the wearer's dodge is increased by 10% through the end of combat. This effect resets after any attack made by the wearer. Or made on the wearer. Astronomicon Regalia. Slash, dash, or kick. They gain agility bonus MP. Momentum. Moved heavy bolter. Arch militant boots. Whenever the wearer performs a melee attack after a ranged attack, the target of the melee attack should pass a toughness resistance test with minus 15 penalty or get knocked prone. I don't even think our boy Wolfar can even use that. Tiger breastplate. I can't use that. Warp guide staff. Allies gain navigators perception bonus additional MP on their first turn. Allies targeted by the navigator's power gain a +9 bonus to all their characteristics until the end of the navigator's next turn. This bonus stacks and is prolonged until the navigator's next turn every time it stacks. Self-calibrating goggles. Where successful single attacks inflict stunned on the target for 1 round if the target fails a willpower resistance test with a -5 penalty. Good. Eve Xeno Mesh. 5 willpower each time their abilities affect an ally. Stacks. Stormbolter. Pain of Sorrow. Is that 14? Anatomist. Get this as well. Surge brooch. Astartes bolt pistol. Like the only thing that I've seen that's like Astartes related. Why do you guys just have a badge of office? Automatically passes any coercion checks. Like, why do you guys just have that? Ooh. This armor is immune to critical hits as long as no party member has been prone throughout the entire combat. That's pretty neat. Okay. Where am I going? This way. Celestium.
You are spoiling me with the splendor of your presence again, Shireen. Have you Oh.
Good.
The Omniscient knows all.
Evil. Random navigator. Have you discovered anything more about the door from your visions?
No, Lord Captain, not a thing. And I'm wandering from bay to bay, scaring the crew. But don't worry, I'm sure that as soon as we get close, well, there'll be no mistaking it.
Adira shakes her head.
Of course. Always at your service, whenever you need me.
Very nice. Excellent. One last thing I want to check. And that's just... Do we have any new trophies in our room? Our trophy room. Oh, yeah. Whoever Drakari Xenos is one of the trophies from the bodies. Yeah. Can't look at that. What is this? You like my new blue and white decorations. Alright. LVP. There's so many things to look into. On my road, there's been an unsuccessful attempt to restore an abandoned colony on Mundus Nullius. All the ship went dark. Several ships have vanished in the Littoridum Malabidibidibid as fast from across the expanse are broadcasting alarming warnings to each other about the unknown threat in the region. Visions in the dark. Echoes of dark songs and legends have reached the astropathic choir following a series of indistinct distress signals emanating from every corner of the expanse. Last, these signals was traced to a void ship from Omicron. Whoa! So many things. Gargantuan Explorer mass transport is returning from a long expedition. Its star hunting is taking longer than expected, and it is in desperate need of provisions, water, and air. The captain is willing to show generosity. The ship's holds are brimming with plasma batteries. Emperor's chains. Even a creation as monumental as the God Emperor's statue on football requires regular maintenance, the station is willing to pay with thousands of mercenaries in exchange for a new set of chains to bind the asteroids to the statue. Yeah. We'll also do that as well. Heirs. The powerful governor of the orbital station of Weta Weta has been sentenced to death by Lord Inquisitor Calcazar. Now is a good time to send agents to his domain to partake in dividing the late governor's fortunes, such as his phlogiston mines. That's 3 of our profit factor, though. Yeah, we barely get... Like, there's not much of phlogiston. Pyramids of Death. A gang of daredevils looking for a sponsor for their suicidal foray into the jungles of the world. Paranthos and the ancient Xenos pyramid located there. Should any of them survive and return with spoils, it will be well worth the investment. Mech Sages. The Imperial Navy has tried to conscript the Fellowship of Mech Sages on Larcene, renowned creators of airborne machines by force. The brave technomats have decided to fight back, and now they require armor for their flying constructs. Disreputable dealer. A once fearsome pirate captain known as Void Shark Eophin, has decided to leave his old craft behind and try his hands at the calmer and more refined cold trade. He is willing to purchase his first shipment of forbidden goods by trading in the weapons from his infamous raider. Rebels? Rebels from the Void City, Hephaestus 9 is looking for someone who could supply them with deadly chemicals to penetrate an attack against the station's satrap. Satrap. Should their request be satisfied, it will soon be time to send crews of void cutters to the station to salvage what remains of the metal husk. Offer. Brave merchant, ruined by his competitors, intends to attack Curlay, a flourishing world rich with fish and inhabited by primitive people. The merchant intends to reward whoever provides assistance with this expedition with a share of the spoils. Okay. And installed. On that. Not good. And that to cargo. And that to cargo. And that to cargo. And that to cargo. Add that to cargo. Add that to cargo. 14 braking, low acceleration. Yeah. Scrap things? No. Take all of my scrap. Why is nobody here? Torpedo control. Shield pulse. Shield pulse. Strafe. New heading. We're so close to leveling. New projects? There are. Okay. Holy Prophet. The due dates of the tithe approaches, and by using corrupted schematics, it is possible to keep both the psychers and the gold. Secret layer. Ayo? Ayo? A lot of things. Wowbringer. Loyalist garb. Okay. The patronage of architects and other artists will allow the creation of amazing monumental works marked with the Rogue Trader's likeness. +5 profit. Pleasing the tired. The Adeptus Administratum's vanity may be indulged through the construction of a floating palace filled with helpful serfs and exquisite pleasures. Call to arms. It is time for the Dargonis nobility to forget their feuds and take up arms in defense of their native world. Militia Navy. The great freedom accorded by the Imperial Navy will allow the mustering of an impressive independent squadron not classified as pirates. Not classified as pirates, huh? All the inhabitants of the Expanse place their trust in Rogue Trader during their hour of need. Flagship restores 33% to the cooldown of ultimate abilities at the end of space combat. Red warp routes always become orange. Ayo? Ayo? Pretty good. Let's see. Foulstone. What do we got here? False Wonders, Missionaries, Lightbringers, Crucible. By showing illusions to the masses, it is possible to gain a lot of attention and attract pilgrims. Missionaries, the Corona's Expanse is in need of stalwart defenders, and Foulstone can help by sending its children to every dark corner of the sector. The establishment of ammunition production will be of great help in the defense of Foulstone and neighboring systems. Lightbringer. The trader's warp currents can be made safer by sending pious patrols to help those in distress and by the lighting of warp beacons. Crucible. After millennia of lying under the monastery, the launch of St. Cognatius' titanic machine nears. Guessing we need, yeah. Raising the Muses. Blessing of St. Cognatius. On non-Xenos allies gained +5 bonus to all other things. Orbital Shipyard. Reliquary. Holy Defenders. Here to all that. Holy Woman feature. Grants +10% damage for 2 rounds and +20 temporary runes when a character uses their origin ability. With Lightbringer. Genus. What do we got here? Let me actually look at the capstones here. Okay, so Holy Defenders. The monastery damaged by the Crucible will be rebuilt. Meanwhile, the monks will begin the process of acknowledging the kinship of St. Cognatius with the Von Valanchius line. Arbitrator Solomon Veer's armor. Sacred Comet. The holy remains of the monastery, which was damaged by the launch of the Crucible, will be transferred to Foulstone's moon, which will be equipped with drives and turned into a sacred comet. Alright, Reliquary. The monastery, having been damaged by the launch of the Crucible, will be transferred aboard the Von Valanchius flagship as a great reliquary and shelter for the Order of Hammer. No matter what, we need to have that. Who's Zamarkand? Hidden plantations will allow the production of hallucinogenic poisons that sting the victim's very genes. I don't like that. Payment in organs. That's foreboding. The large increase in tithes may be supplemented by a decree that addresses the current shortfalls in other ways. Secret layer. Xeno specialists will decipher the written records left by ancient Xenos that once inhabited Janus. Scriptorium schools. It is possible to teach the serfs to read and thus educate enlightened servants under the supervision of monks. Reading. A curious intoxicating substance has been discovered in Xenos ruins. Clandestine magos alchemy's workshops will refine and distill the substance, transforming it into pure euphoria that will delight the weary souls of aristocrats who long for new diversions. The Lost. The Expanse is burning, testing the mettle of its void pirates. They are ready to pay an exotic xenobeast for such simple things like air and provisions. Plus 15 coercion, plus 15 lore Xenos. Territory for new agri-complexes can be gained in only one way, the way of fire. All allies gain plus 10. That. Shelter. Genesis orbit is swarming with a fleet of refugees. By turning the entire world into an enormous staging point, the Rogue Trader will save billions of lives. Each time an ally is healed in combat, the damage to this ally is increased. Damage of this ally is increased by 4% until the end of combat. Lightbringers. Okay. Forbidden Planet. Genesis orbit is swarming with a fleet of refugees. However, their descent to the planet would be disastrous. Nobody must learn the construction of the Xeno-vivisectory for the study of Aldari culture and technology. Against Xenos. Pleasure World. Genesis orbit is swarming with a fleet of refugees. By welcoming the aristocrats among them on the planet and turning it into a resort, of course, the Rogue Trader will gain favor in the higher circles. I want this one. I hate that we have to burn shit. But Scriptorium schools. Let the people read. Okay, Kiava-Gamma. Moving world. It is possible to utilize all of Kiava-Gamma's potential by covering its surface with huge electro. The whole world will be wrapped in a Grandoy's Potentia coil. Okay. Orbital shipyard. An orbital shipyard will provide the Imperium's massive vessels with proper repair and produce new void ships. Good. Retrofitting mining equipment may be of interest to the Pirates of the Expanse, enough to make a deal with them. Sacred Flame. Passing through distillation plants and a multitude of filters, raw materials with high energy potential will be transformed into combustible promethium. Dark experiments. Secret experiments with Xeno devices in the field of void ship construction may lead to new discoveries in that domain. Mechanical trade. There's an opportunity to provide the Imperial Navy with tech priests in exchange for precious components and spare parts. Memory of the Daring. Provides 125 points of protection for each sector. This amount is doubled against enemy kinetic attack. Holy shit. It's like super good. Archive of the Expanse. Kiava-Gamma will become the main data repository of the Expanse. Thousands of scribes register cargo, and the legends of watchful cogitators process myriads of documents. Alright, Sky Barrier. Euphrates 2 is lost, and the Adeptus Mechanicus now turns its gaze upon Kiava-Gamma. The world can become a manufactorum for the creation of mighty void weaponry, exalted instruments of war. All allies gain plus 20% minimum damage to their ranged attacks. The Rogue Trader's weapons carry the blessing of the supreme armorers of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Triumph and Fury. 5 shots, 30 damage. Damn. Need holy ammunition for that. The power of plasma. Euphrates 2 is lost. The world can become a sacred assembly line for plasma drives endowed with the Emperor's grace, Sacrament of Light, with average acceleration. Alright, warp revelations. The world can be turned into a research complex for warp technologies, too sacral to be widely published. The Rare has 100% wounds they deal, plus 5 times willpower percent bonus additional damage with their psychic powers and psyker staffs. I got like things for 3. We can get that, one of these and stuff. What do we need for this? Missionaries. We have to have missionaries. Schola Progenium. A new entry in the announced Dargonus, the fate of millions of orphans whose parents fell in the fire that gripped the expanse. Pure blood. The foundation of a vast repository of secrets and knowledge. Only the aristocracy and the highest ranks have access to the halls. New entry begins with provision of patronage to all fearless conquerors of the expanse. Okay, let's see what you guys get. Alright, Earthbreaker. The blessed hydraulic installation of the Adeptus Mechanicus will crush the greedy bowels of the earth, freeing the priceless minerals within that the Imperium so desperately needs. Alright. Pure blood. The rogue trader may grant convicts the right to buy with their labor the freedom of their children born in captivity. Holy shit. The open pit mining of transuranium will be a blow to Vabos 6's population, but bring in enormous profit. Acquiring captives from the enemies of humanity for use in forced labor is a possible way to replenish the workforce. Alright, Navy whips. Disciplinary officers of the Imperial Navy will make for wonderful wardens of Vabos 4. Or 6. Penal Battalion. An entire planetary regiment of martyr guardsmen, a gift from the rogue trader to the Coroner's Expanse in its darkest hour. 10% crit chance with macro cannons. All right, Raider base. Acquire quiet haven, especially for the Expanse's pirates. It's time to capitalize on this. Freedom and vengeance. Whenever the wearer performs a non-burst attack with a pistol, that attack pushes the enemy by 2 cells. If the wearer kills an enemy with a pistol attack, they immediately reload it. Each pistol reload grants a plus 5% critical hit chance for pistol attacks. Okay. Table 6, the frontier of the Expanse. Outcasts and exiles will find peace and tranquility here in the right conditions. Mistress of the Shadowy Expanse, plus 10 int, fellowship, and willpower. Okay. A quiet haven where one should mind the state of their soul. A fortress of repentance, complete with an order of battle flagellants, is a worthy use of a planet. Probably gonna go for this. Because that's good. That's very good. Let's see, we need Xenos Intoxicants. I think that's from here. Right? Yep. Okay, that's already done? What the fuck? How is that already done? Need the missionaries one. I'm like, huh? Let's see. We need this. I'm just gonna buy that now. Lord Captain, there is an active sabotage on Kiava Gamma. The cult of the Final Dawn has invaded the planet, cultivated a pack of schismaticals and in the bowels of the manufactorums, and set them upon us. The attack was so sudden that we almost lost all the workshops, but we had help. Some entities, already being called data angels, have invaded the cogitational network, seized the cogitators and servitors, and used them to repel the first onslaught of the schematicals. Now there is a fierce struggle taking place all over the planet. The new sphere of the world is boiling. Fortunately, we received information about the impending attack at the last moment. Signal was intercepted in the warp by the Cubus Delphum's machine. How did the cultists infiltrate my world? This was a part of a coordinated attack that hit the entire expanse. The heretics must have spent huge amounts of time on preparations. What do we know about these data angels? Not much. They are the machine spirits, beings born from the art of data smithing. They charge into battle chanting the same binaric mantra that the participants of Procedure 0C chanted. The Logis, who have been observing them and have investigated the cells used in Procedure 0C, have deciphered traces of their activity and discovered patterns that could point us to the possible creators of these data angels. If they are right, then they bear the seal of the Explorator's Cognizance Fleet. Connecting to the Naval Directory. No mention of operations on Kiava Gamma detected. No information on data angels detected. Hypothesis. Either there has been a calculation error, or the information is locked behind a higher level of security clearance required for the sacrament. Now let's join forces with these data angels. Blessing of the data angels. All allies gain 5 perception and 10% arm penetration. May metal never betray the mistress whose deeds please the Omniscience. Or Terror of Kiava Gamma. Machine, part machine, and Necron creatures deal minus 10% less damage to the Rogue Trader and their allies. Necron creatures. Oh boy. Must be exiled. First, hear opinions of my officers and advisors. There are backup cogitators located in the Kiava Gamma manufactorums to ensure the continuity of production in case of an accident. The severity of the situation would call for disrupting the service algorithms, and I am prepared to sanction a ritual that will allow the data angels of the Omnissiah to absorb the Cogitator's computing power to combat these wicked spirits. That go from a -1 to a +1. Let's now sanction the ritual of bonding with backup Cogitators. Your request to perform the sacrament is accepted, and shall be fulfilled immediately. Having gained access to the cogitational reserves and after being infused with power, the data angels charged at the schematicals. The hordes of data spirits have been tech exercised and exterminated, and the afflicted mechanisms purged and restored. The tech priests gave praise to the Omnissiah for protecting the production algorithm from severe disruption. After exiling the schematicals, the data angels have retreated into hiding inside the cogitational networks, leaving the servants of the Omnissiah only to guess at who or what these beings were. Eye of the Omnissiah. 92% hit chance, 15% crit chance. The orbital shipyard. I didn't pick one for this one. I don't think these are supposed to be like immediate. This was like the only one that actually takes like this and this one. Why? Guess the max is that. Oh. Okay. What about be able to explore more outward there? Spooky. We got a thing there. We have things like everywhere. We have a thing there. There. And there. Oh. Something there. Got a thing there. I think we had a thing there. rat hunting. The Dargonus. The incident. Noller's septum. Okay. Cradle of Kepri. Otto's tomb. That. And this Nolus. Somewhere in those. Omicron. Eye of the Magnetic Storm. Enemies of humanity have been spotted aboard the ship. Warp beasts have enthralled the crew in charge of one of the macro cannons and massacred those who resisted the heresy. Give them things. Big ol' save. All usual noises on the bridge cease when the shadow of a gigantic void ship, seemingly appearing out of nowhere, sails past the stained glass windows. It seems forlorn. The hull is tarnished, the lumens are dead, and the windows are broken and shrouded. The Augur crew can't recognize the signature of its silent engines. They only manage to shed some light on its decrepit hull and make out the faded name of the cruiser, Queen's Lament. The Voxmaster's report breaks the somber silence. You have received a Voxcast from the dead void ship. Yeah. Breedis conducts a full Vox system check and reports that the communications are in order, even though only eerie, unnatural silence can be heard through the Vox. Worried murmurs sweep across the bridge. The officers are certain you've encountered the void ship of the old ghost stories. Queen's Lament has appeared countless times in all corners of the Imperium. Like a ghost, it manifested out of nowhere, and just as mysteriously vanished in the darkness of space, taking with it all those who dared to board. Queen's Lament. You've heard that name before. This void ship was destroyed by Xenos in one of the violent battles for the Expanse over 3 millennia ago. They say that its captain was a devout and vengeful man. Ten scouts. The shuttle carrying the soldiers dock with the Queen's Lament without impediment. Using the disparate blueprints of other Imperial cruisers, the scouting party sets out to the bridge, following the dark, unpowered corridors that somehow retained oxygen and gravity. The nervous voice of the operator erupts through the Vox. The crew are still on the board, but what's this? Blurry silhouettes of people with torn-off limbs, cut-open bellies, and twisted faces are materializing and vanishing all around in ghastly flashes. The ghost promise the unwelcome guests that they will stay on board the Queen's Lament forever. Raising his voice to a shout, the operator reports that his comrades are already dead, and soon it will be his turn. The Augurs are telling you a different story. All of the scouts are alive and still moving forward. Order the operator to pull himself together. Soldiers must be prepared to face even the most terrifying space horrors. Crows the operator. He will be severely punished if he does not pull himself together. Calm soldier down. He's probably scared by the strange visions and lost sight of his comrades. An anxious prayer to the Emperor is whispered over the Vox. For a moment, the operator falls silent and suddenly returns, mumbling excuses about his imagination playing tricks on him. His comrades are still walking ahead of him, alive and well, and the void ship looks completely empty again. After a few minutes of silence, a child's cry can be heard through the Vox. The stuttering operator reports that friends and family of the members of the scouting party are blocking the way. The friends and family who've all been taken by death. The soldiers confirm that they are not seeing ghosts, but living people made of flesh and bone. Soldiers are begging the rogue trader to let them talk to their loved ones for a moment. Remind the soldiers that it's impossible to cheat death. These visions must be a product of some dark power. Scouts begin to argue. The unintelligible quarreling abruptly stops, and after a few minutes, the operator anxiously gives his report. As soon as the squad split up, the ones who decided to stay with their loved ones were swallowed by the darkness of the empty deck and vanished. Half an hour later, the Vox comes to life once again. The operator flatly reports that the scouting party has reached the bridge. The cogitators are broken, so extracting any data from them seems impossible. Scouts have found a strange object in the captain's chair. They can't describe it, only saying that this shouldn't be there. In his usual flat voice devoid of emotion, the operator completes his report. The way to the bridge took 16 hours and 41 minutes. The soldiers are exhausted and would like to rest for some time. Confused, Vigdis notes that only half an hour has passed outside the Queen's Lament. Order the squad to retrieve the unknown object and withdraw immediately. Strange object in the captain's chair. Take the thing. The Voxcast stops abruptly, and a few minutes later, the scouting party's shuttle leaves the Queen's Lament. The void ship itself dissolves in the darkness of space. The shuttle arrives carrying a single passenger, the operator clutching a strange parcel. The young man's hair has turned white after the time spent on the cursed vessel, and he has lost the ability to speak. His story and rumors of what happened to the other scouts will live on for many years in hushed whispers across every deck of your void ship. But what was the object? Unholy relics. Amulet grants the reorder plus 20 bonus to coercion and minus 5 penalty to that. Interesting. Offering up prayers to the machine god, the augur operators turned their blessed optics toward the very epicenter of the raging magnetic storm. In spite of the thick haze of static covering the augur's picked visor, something unexpected appeared. The augur crew have detected signs of life under the planet's surface. There, in the caves, is a man-made complex. According to the ship's archives, this world is uninhabitable and devoid of useful resources, so the presence of someone's base seems intriguing. Send a team. The enforcers disembarked next to the suspicious cave. The entrance to the cave turned out to be blocked by a massive plasteel door. Once pierced by a melted charge, they then shoddily patched up. Within, an ambush awaited your team. Attackers with emaciated bodies pounced from the darkness without warning. The enforcers of the Van Valankius dynasty reacted with lightning speed. They walked away from the vicious battle not only victorious, but having captured the enemy commander. While the shuttle brought the prisoner aboard the Lord Captain's void ship, scouts searched the base and found a vast hall, the walls of which were dotted with cryo vaults. All but one were disabled and contained the remains of some prominent people, judging by their clothes. The last cryo vault was opened and stood empty. In addition, a curious machine was destroyed during the battle. As further inspection would show, this was the very contraption responsible for creating the magnetic storms blanketing the planet, concealing the cemetery from prying eyes. Its machine spirit extinguished forever, Tech Free still managed to extract those parts that still held value. Examine the cryo vaults. Tech Free sent at your command have reported that the machine spirits of all cryo vaults are healthy and obedient, excepting the one living within the opened sarcophagus. This machine spirit is in terrible condition, afflicted by great madness, muddying its algorithm. Ooh, 60%. Hey. Cryo Vault Keepers. Under torture, the bastard confessed to belonging to the cult of St. Drusus. He and his brothers and sisters were tasked with guarding this strange cemetery and preventing anyone from entering. He equally could not hide that the unfortunate inhabitants of the cryovaults were killed by his people. Alas, that was his last confession, as the harsh interrogation finally took its toll. See. Oh, that's 2 rumors done. Right off the bat. Okay. 6:40. We're gonna take a break. As I'm gonna go get food, as I presume it's leftovers. So we're gonna take a break. Boop. I'm back. Dinner is actually being cooked. It's just very late. So we'll probably take another break in, like, I don't know, however long. Vault Keepers. A number of followers of St. Drusus on they were guarding a covert underground facility, ready to kill any intruders without mercy. In the depths of the facility, Rogue Trader discovered cryo vaults containing dead bodies. Oh. Go within range. Lord Captain, urgent message. Our enforcers have arrested a dangerous saboteur who attempted to gain entry onto the bridge. This incident may be worthy of your attention. You see, both the saboteur and the circumstances of his capture are rather strange. Cannot tell if Vigdis sounds baffled or worried. I think it would be reasonable for Magos Pascal to take a look at him as well. What's so unusual about the saboteur and the way he was captured? The thing is, Lord Captain, the saboteur is most definitely a tech priest. He found his way aboard the ship and penetrated all our security systems with staggering ease. Both his ability to communicate with machine spirits and the combat potential of his augmentations are extraordinary. Nevertheless, the enforcers managed to capture him. During the arrest, the intruder he offered no resistance at all. Instead, he asked for an audience with the great machine spirit. When he realized that the enforcers had no idea what he was talking about, he asked to meet with you. I considered it necessary to apprise you of the situation. This infiltration of a rogue trader ship operated by authorized engine seers casts doubt on my tech comrade's stability. If he is indeed my tech comrade, that is. Regardless, I request permission to communicate with the captive. Very well, I will speak to him. Understood, Lord Captain. Saboteur will be brought to you. Is this concerning Nomos? Hmm. Freaking map just winging across. Okay. Yep, Nomos. The group of servitors, whose movements are suspiciously well synchronized, stares at the towering prisoner. You do not need to hear them speak to recognize Nomos, who has seen fit to attend the interrogation. Asclepius. Medicine guy? The captured man, if he can be called that, looks positively gigantic next to the enforcers at his side. Deadly-looking metal gleams dimly beneath his faded crimson robes. His hands are folded obediently, and his mechadendrites are perfectly still. I greet the master of this vessel cathedral and offer my humble apologies for this unbidden intrusion. My apologies to you as well, brother. The interloper inclines his head in the direction of the frowning Pascal. Then the prisoner turns slightly and looks straight at Nomos' observing servitors. And of course, I must beg forgiveness from you, Great Spirit. It was not my intent to desecrate your temple. Before I accept your apologies, tell me who you are and why you infiltrated my ship. My name, if it matters, is Asclepius, formerly a computator general of the Cognizance Fleet, now a Liber recluse with the status of Malatech. Malatechs are exiles whose ideas have not crossed the line of heresy, yet have come close to it. They are removed from the fleet structure to give them a chance to see the folly of their ways and prevent sedition from spreading. Pascal's voice sounds unusually alarmed. All of that is trivial. My past is nothing but a set of archived data. My lost status is a part replacement string in a long chronicle of the Cognizance Fleet. I come not as a priesthood's messenger, but as a faithful disciple of the most holy Armanat. My brother once served as the engineer prime on this ship. Asclepius gestures around him reverently. He was an adherent of the school of discontinuing the cycle, as am I. It has spread that far. Difficult to discern Pascal's emotions on from his tone. I know that my brother perished, but before he did, he sent me a message that told of a journey embarked upon by Theodora von Valancius. A journey through a dimensional gate, an artifact more ancient than humanity itself, and toward worlds unknown. The blessed Armanat was with her. There, upon those dark worlds, he witnessed a great miracle, the birth of a machine spirit of incalculable might. My brother believed that this spirit then fell aslumber within this ship like a child in a cradle, not responding to lowly pleas. That was the purpose of my pilgrimage, to reach the ship where my brother died, the ship upon whose decks the blessed Armanat had walked, and prostrate myself before the Great Spirit. Armanat traveled on this ship? Yes, he did. My brother's words on this were clear. Years ago, Armanat was part of Rogue Trader Theodore's inner circle, before their ways parted. Tell me more about this journey. My knowledge of it is scarce. My brother suspected that his memory, along with the memory of all who might have known the details, had been purposefully modified. He saw it as a sign that the journey had revealed a great truth, and there were those who did not wish to see that truth brought to light. All that he conveyed to me was that Theodora had reached worlds unlike any the people of the Corners Expanse had ever seen. There she unearthed a great treasure of technology, one that Armanat had the privilege of experiencing. What do you know about this great spirit? It is a great miracle. The Omnissiah's breath meant to help us discontinue the cycle. It was born of the treasure that Armanat and Theodora discovered upon the Dark Worlds. Yet even a being so glorious needs attendants and guides, and as long the Cognus's fleet is racked by schism, and my brothers and sisters suffer defeats without end, there is no one to aid the spirit. That is why I came here. Does the name Nomos mean anything to you? Nothing. He has not come to know us yet. He will, if you let him, Medea. We sense that his words are about us, that the story he has told is our story. You are strong, yet you let yourself be caught. I took a vow that I would never inflict physical harm upon lay people. The Omniscience grants us the power of the true flesh for a purpose other than damaging the frail and blind creatures that are all who have not yet tasted his knowledge. I have made my decision regarding your fate. Whatever it is, I will accept it. As will I. And yet I plead that my brother be shown leniency. His story initializes thought. We ask of you to keep him for us. Nomos' servitors speak up suddenly, in the faintest of whispers. Alright. I find you guilty of offenses against the cult Mechanicus and House von Valancus. Your crimes warrant punishment more severe than death. You will atone by serving me and therefore the Imperium. Let's see. You are mine now. You are now mine, and you shall obey my every whim. Your actions have caused no harm, and so I shall not harm you. You are free. You may stay on my ship if you so choose. I could not ask for more. All I wish is to remain in these halls and observe in reverence the Great Spirit's deeds. Let this cycle be discontinued. Nomos' servitors turn their heads to you and nod all at once in what can be interpreted as an expression of gratitude. New friend. The incident. Pet. Good boy. The massive figure of the Malatech Asclepius is frozen before the cogitator in a praying pose. Without raising his head, he addresses you. I salute the ruler of this ship. See, you have found your great spirit, Asclepius. I have found a miracle, and the end of my worldly road. I have never seen and never will see anything more meaningful than the spirit of Nomos. In the face of its multitude, we are all nothing but the fixed values of an erroneous function. Cybergargoyle's gaze tracks you. The unblinking gaze of the servitor gargoyle is fixed on you. Nomos are here. What have you been doing? Oh. Place where... Okay. Nomos suddenly falls silent. Symbols race chaotically across the screens of the huge cogitator, and you hear an almost human groan come from the depths of the machine. Nomos understand, realize, comprehend themselves. For a moment there is silence, broken only by the moans of the huge machine, and then the cyber gargoyle begins to speak, and with it the other servitors chosen by Nomos. We have analyzed the data with which you sated us, and we have recreated the sequence of events. First, there was Epitaph. It is a world, but it is merely a case, a container, for something we cannot name and cannot understand. Theodora and this ship have been to that place. Something was lifted up from the world, a gift, a trusted priest in crimson, one who identifies himself as Armanat, comprehended the gift raised from Epitaph, and from it he created what the databanks list as a tech blight. But that is not how Nomos came into being. We were not invented. We were not freed. We came into being by accident. The chorus of servitors sounds genuinely confused, almost desperate. Theodora's ambition, the myriad mechanisms of the huge ship, Armanat's mind, the inquisitive attempts to comprehend and extract, the dormant blight, the dormant epitaph, what lies hidden in its depths, and between it all we slipped in, connected, and emerged like an electrical discharge between the poles. Accident. Incident. That is what we are. We have no purpose, no history, nomos just are. Do you know where this epitaph is? That data is gone, deleted, erased, deliberately. Bleep bloop, the possessed ship. You discovered the truth about nomos. But we cannot trace who did it or why. Tech blight? A gift, but a terrible one. You would call it a weapon. Theodora coveted it. She needed it desperately, but we do not know why. How is Armanat involved in this? He desired knowledge. Theodora allowed him to explore the gifts of epitaphs, slaking his thirst. But we know it did not bring him happiness. In the footprint of his slaked thirst, fear followed. The blessed Armanat was involved in the birth of this spirit named Nomos. I do not believe for a moment that he could have been frightened by this miracle. It was not us he feared. He did not know us, but only suspected. His mental processes were occupied by the tech blight. That was what he feared. He wanted protection from it. Ship was on Epitaph. Armanat traveled aboard it, investigating the tech blight, and Nomos was born as a result of an incident. So, how was it possible that no one in the crew knew the whole truth? The truth was hidden, deliberately. Your officers' memories were stolen. All the cogitators' memory banks were wiped. It took you feeding us the truth bit by bit for us to piece it together and understand. Who has the resources, the knowledge, and the power to accomplish such a feat? It would have been beyond the capabilities of the blessed Armanat himself, and he would never destroy knowledge. This story disturbs me. It sounds like an echo of a sacrilege whose name is the preservation of ignorance. The spirit of Nomos must be protected from the encroachments of that power that tried to conceal the truth of its birth. Talk about the future. You do, in fact, have a purpose, Nomos. Then tell us, what is our purpose? To serve the light and truth and greatness that is the Imperium. To simply live, comprehending yourself in the world. Life does not need a purpose to justify itself. To be my servant, my blade, a force to be reckoned with by all. To simply live, comprehending yourself in the world. Life does not need a purpose to justify itself. To simply live. The chorus of servitors dutifully repeats your words, but seemingly without understanding them. Nomos is preoccupied. The huge cogitator continues to sing its creaking song, running unknown calculations. Blessed be the spirit. A great path and a great future lie before it, and we must assist it on its way. Let's take my leave. Nice, nice. Argonis. Football. Gartefel's Calamity. What was this? Heinrich. Like that, we're just making an iconoclastic AI. Okay. That. Got a thing there. Is that one? This one? A really large asteroid the size of a small planet was spotted in the system of Sato's tomb. The asteroid may hold rich deposits of valuable resources. Oh. You got called down for dinner. Dinner is finally done. Alright, we're gonna take a break. Boop. Boop. I am back. I had pork chops and mushroom sauce over rice. It's very good. So this has happened. Jai is... Ooh, a lot of phlegm in my throat. Jai is briskly counting the treasures that have suddenly appeared in your chambers. Shireen, I decided that it is only right if I return all of these to you. No matter how lovely and valuable a gift may be, it becomes a millstone around the heart when it is obtained by deceitful means. I thought the safest thing would be to bring them all here. If I had handed them to Danric, it would have been a monstrous temptation. And your avaricious factotum does not strike me as someone who is good at resisting temptation. What? Are these my gifts? Yes, Shireen. Tokens of your interest that you lavished upon me as generously as the sun lavishes its light and heat. I don't recall giving you quite so many gifts. I think you must have given some of these to yourself. I do not recall giving you quite so many gifts. I think you must have given some of these to yourself. It is possible I availed myself of certain privileges granted by my status as a favorite of the rogue trader. I almost said inquisitor. It is impossible to hold a spoonful of honey in one's mouth and not taste it. There's no need for this. Is this your way of telling me that our relationship's at an end? No need for this. On the contrary, Shetty, decency dictates that I do this. Jay speaks with vehemence, almost desperation, like a column of foot soldiers storing a fort. Storing? I think that's supposed to be storming a fort. I refuse to close my eyes to what's right in front of me, my dear. I am not the one for you. Rogue traders do not keep no-name commoners by their side. This mismatch will diminish you as long as it continues, and when it ends, I will be the one diminished. Jay is striving to maintain her business-like air of indifference, but her shoulders are sagging as though under a heavy weight. A haunted look flickers in her eyes, and her mouth is set in a forlorn moo. Looking up a word. M-O-U-E. A pouting expression used to convey annoyance or distaste.
Moo.
Moo. She's mooing? Mouth set in a forlorn moo. I see a different future for us. We do not need to end things. The cold mask falls from Jay's face, revealing what lies beneath. a tortured expression and tears rolling down her tawny cheeks. And how long will we be able to keep playing this simpleton and the rogue trader? You have a protectorate full of women just like me. Before, I was able to make myself stand out from the crowd. But now, with every passing day in your eyes, I'll just become more ordinary, more trivial. I'm like a performer whose props for his tricks have come tumbling out of his sleeves. I need to get off the stage before the crowd starts throwing stones and rotten food. I don't want to have my heart broken by you. Become who you pretend to be. Let's pretend together. Aw. Very formal, this first one. I like you as you are. Begging you to show mercy. Don't leave me, goddamn. Everyone's like, I'm begging you, Jay. Do not leave me, please. I won't break your heart. I like you as you are. I mean, like, nice and straightforward. Concise. I mean, I haven't always been the rogue trader either, but that's who you see in me. You become who you pretend to be. Let's pretend together. Like, surprisingly sweet. It's just starting to get stuffy again. Jay shakes her head, frowning, but a traitor's smile of hope steals across her face. Stop. Now is not the time to play around. Don't look at me like that. Damn it all, I can feel those eyes weakening my resolve even when I know I've come to bitterly regret it. Jay helplessly throws up her hands. You win, Medea. I can't resist your charms. I'll drink the cup of our passion to the very bottom. No matter how bitter the dregs are in the last swallow, I'm yours. Easy. Easy romance not ending. Oh. I was over there.
You are spoiling me with this. Oh.
You are spoiling with me with the O. All right. Sato's tomb. Oh. The deepest tunnels. The gigantic asteroid's surface is densely sown with craters and pits leading into deep caves. Augurs indicate that the asteroid consists of layers characterized by strange heterogeneity. There is a high probability of finding valuable resources inside the stone. They can be extracted by sending an exploration team deep into the tangled tunnels. Looking up another word. Heterogeneity. The quality or state of being diverse in character or content.
Heterogeneity.
Yep. Okay. Send an exploration team equipped with drilling apparatus to the asteroid. With the help of the massive drill, the exploration team penetrates into the cavernous depths. The squad reports that their auspices have detected meager reserves of a substance used in the synthesis of plasteel in the rock. Their excavation will take time and significant effort. Some should not be disregarded. Oh! Cracking the unusual rock turns out to be impossible. Having encountered unexpected resistance, the equipment falls into disrepair. After several fruitless watches, the squad continues moving deeper into the asteroid in search of richer veins. Rip. Yeah, I'm gonna save scum that. Yeah, I'm gonna be scum right now. Absolute CRPG scum. We had a 90% chance. The equipment struggles with the unexpected hardness of the rock, but after 3 watches, the squad manages to set up enough mobile extractiums to gather the coveted material. The noise and vibrations caused by the instruments have disturbed strange currents inside the asteroid. A transparent, viscous substance streams down from the porous walls of the caverns, slowly filling the caves. The squad's auspices raise the alarm. A prolonged stay in these tunnels will undoubtedly result in a toxic liquid destroying the gear and equipment. Despite this, the explorers suggest blocking the livelier streams in order to leave them with enough time to fill several canisters with the strange substance. Later, the Magi alchemists will no doubt be able to synthesize many useful chemicals from it. There's not enough data on the substance. The Rogue Trader orders the team to circumvent the toxin-filled caverns to avoid risking their health and equipment. There's no need for haste. The explorers are to gather as much material as possible and transfer the find to the Magi alchemists for further processing. It's going to be one of those things where the asteroid is actually like a living thing. Long hours are spent carefully preparing for the collection of the material and mapping the caves in this part of the asteroid. Carefully observing the flows of strange liquid, the squad succeeds in gathering several canisters of the substance while preventing any floods. While some soldiers return to carry the prize back to the surface, the rest continue moving toward the asteroid's heart. The explorers eventually reach the dry, surprisingly large caverns. A minute of respite is interrupted by a terrified scream. The squad is under attack. The tunnel's arches collapse, turning into nightmarish monsters resembling both worms and spiders. The beasts rush forward, yearning to tear apart the intruders who disturb their nest. Ulfar. Engage the monsters. The gigantic horrors attack relentlessly, their powerful mandibles turning soldiers' bodies into a bloody paste, but nothing can withstand the purifying light of flamers. Intrigued by the encounter with new xenoforms, the explorers notice that their tough carapaces conceal meat, both extraordinarily nutritious and surprisingly tasty. Without a doubt, future hunts for these creatures could feed a significant number of people. Did we just fucking discover terminids? Or Clandethu? Like arachnids? The endless caverns eventually lead the explorers to the very center of the asteroid, where they are met with a yawning cavity of unimaginable size. The giant rock turns out to be housing the curved, shapeless buildings of an unknown xeno-race, fragile, built as if out of sand. An intriguing find awaits. Hiccups. Awaits the squad in the long-dead city. Uncountable quantities of ugly totems made from crystal phlogiston are built into the walls of the most twisted buildings. Order the collections of the xenototems. Phlogiston is too valuable to leave it here. Greed. With each crystal effortlessly removed from the dilapidated sand walls, entire blocks of the city collapse. It does not take long for the cavity inside the asteroid to fill with a thick, dusty fog. Further recovery of the phlogiston from the crumbling ruins will take more time. Just committing a whole bunch of word I'm looking for. Crimes against archaeology there. See if that got fixed with the reload. Nope, it did not. Okay. Going no way. Okay. Oh. Laboratorium schools. Xenos intoxicant. Long for diversions. Cost 4 Xenotech though. Or no, something required it. Don't remember where. We have that now though. This one. Hmm. There's no, like, you can't have this. Vanity may be indulged through construction of a floating palace filled with helpful syrups and exquisite pleasures. Keep both the psychers and the gold. Plus 2 to the plating of all sectors. Oh. Ourselves a militia. Get that and like 2 others. An opportunity to provide the Imperial Navy with tech briefs in exchange for precious components and spare parts. for a new stage of development. Lord Captain, the Crucible's great sculpting is underway. Foulstone is being transformed right before our eyes into a fertile world with lush groves and clean water. However, there is evidence that the Crucible has also created humans. From the mouth of the relic came several thousand people who, speaking an archaic form of Low Gothic, demanded to be given orders. They cultivate land, build houses, and production facilities with obedience, and, in general, have a remarkable range of skills and knowledge. However, it seems that these people completely lack their own free will, and for this, the monks have named them Touched. The tech priests who served the Crucible came upon birthing vats built into the relic. The machine is constantly growing new Touched within them. And there is a split among the believers. Though many call it a miracle sent by the Emperor himself and want to quickly put the Touch to work, a part of the population is frightened by these soulless creatures born from the ancient machine. They demand that the planet's learned men intervene in the great sculpting and find a way to stop the production of the Touched. How dangerous are these Touched? They do not appear to pose a threat. The autopsy of several specimens has shown that they are physiologically identical to ordinary humans. No traces of corruption or xenotampering were found either. However, their obedience is a double-edged sword. They obey any orders without knowing or caring who gives them, and thus nothing prevents a cunning intruder from bending them to their will, creating an army of obedient slaves or spies at their disposal. What to think of my officers? They were born by the relic of Saint Cognatius, which means they please the Emperor. We have to remind people of it. Arrange a public ceremony of tonsure to initiate the Touch into the Order of the Hammer, and a service dedicated to reading parables about the acts of Saint Cognatius and his followers. Why don't you make the first move and assemble a mighty force from these Touched ones? If they're so obedient and diligent, then they will make fine troops. Assign a loyal commander to each squad to keep an eye on them, and these strange people will turn from a threat into mighty defenders of the Imperium. Lack of will, registering a high probability of manufacturing failure within the Crucible's sacred processes. It is recommended to dispose of the finished batch of units and halt production of new ones. The algorithm of the great sculpting requires further examination. Alright. Hold a public tonsure. Icons of the Touched. Enemy critical hit chances and warp damage against the flagship are reduced by 30%. Sacred icons painted by the Touched adorn the ship's decks. Okay. Okay. +1 complacency, +1 efficiency. I shall listen to Ulfar's advice. Brigades of the Touch should be formed to serve on other planets. Crucible-born Tempest. The Touched who were recruited as enforcers gave form to the ancient knowledge stored in their minds by modifying the Void Ship's weapons using sacred archaeotech, long-range dorsal plasma macro cannons which fire 2 shots, dealing 26 damage per shot. +2 security. Pronounce the Touch the property of the Ordered Hammer, let them continue to serve. Wisdom Extractor. All allies gain 5% armor and 5% critical chance. Their archaic secrets extracted from the heads of the Touched were given to the gunsmiths tending the Rogue Trader's armory. Enemy crit chances and warp damage reduced by 30. Sounds pretty good. Five armor, 5 crit chance. I think we're gonna go for this one. Like that. Not having my ship get crit during ship combat. I will draft a detailed plan of the ceremony and hand it over to the abbot. Under the guidance of the brothers and sisters of the Order of Hammer, the Touched carried on with their toils, cultivating the land and building new settlements. The public induction of the Touched, along with their diligent service, eventually solidified their image in the minds of the people as the executors of St. Cognatius's will sent down to the faithful to ease their burdens during the great sculpting. Any concerns about the Touch possibly posing a danger were completely dispelled. Nice. One, two, three, four. Alright. In the process of acknowledging the kinship of Saint Cognatius and the von Valancius line. Ah, yes, propaganda. The holy remains of the monastery, which was damaged at the launch of the Crucible, will be transferred to Falstone's moon, which will be equipped with drives and turned into a secret comet. Which sounds fucking badass. Will be transferred aboard the von Valancius flagship as a reliquary. Or hits a criminal enemy. That enemy gains +1 stack of the perplexed effect. This armor once belonged to Solomon Veer of the Adeptus Arbites. While pursuing the head of a major crime syndicate, Flavius Colt Veer, Veer went beyond the bounds of the Calixtus sector and his own jurisdiction. Outnumbered, he was felled by the criminal and his henchmen, but took them all out with him. His armor was kept in the reliquary of the Cornus Expanse division of the Administratum. Cool looking armor. Plus coercion divided by 10 deflection. I really like this one. A new ruler. High Rise, you completed a colony project of the highest tier. Ammunition. Warp technologies. Only ammunition. That. Oh. Lord Captain, situation on Foulstone requires your attention. One of the servants tasked with the Crucible's maintenance has declared publicly that he has been liberated of all worldly concerns, for he is none other than the reincarnation of Saint Cognatius. There are some extremely questionable reports claiming that he has performed miracles. Supported by a congregation garnered by preaching, he has asked for your ladyship's permission to depart from Foulstone with the Crucible in tow, so that he may continue St. Cognatius's work and use the relic to transform worlds, ones true to the faith of the Imperium, into lush, splendorous gardens. It goes without saying that such a generous gift to the Cornus Expanse could bring great renown to your ladyship, but at a heavy cost. Foulstone would turn back into a wasteland, and you would lose the prestige that comes with having charge over such a valuable relic. What do we know about the so-called Saint Cognatius reincarnate? Tiber Hike, a technomat from Footfall, he now prefers to be called Brother Pure Voice, an unremarkable commoner with no family, gaunt, unkempt, covered in scabs from working the crucible. He became obsessed with it from the day it was discovered. He never left his maintenance post, never rested, barely ever slept, fasting and living off stimulants and condensate from the relic's cooling circuit. Then he started having revelations and eventually saw the truth, or he went completely insane. His sermons are directed at commoners, appealing to them for humility and mercy. He often speaks about his former life as a saint, and many of these tales match known legends about Saint Cognatius. No anarchical pronunciations or radical deviations from the creed have been found in his words. Yet. Execute this dangerous agitator publicly. The colony must have order. Yes. Let us crucify him. Maybe have one of our guardsmen impale him with a spear. Saint Cognatius Ostensorium. Whenever the wearer suffers an attack from a demon or warp damage, they inflict burning H to all adjacent enemies. All burning effects inflicted by the wearer deal double damage if they target demons or psychers. Make him undergo the trial of purity. Let him die trying to prove his holiness, at least so he can stop troubling the people. He must be inducted into the Order of the Hammer forcibly if necessary. Consecrated weapons. The Pure Voice Prophet has blessed the ship's weapons. All void ship weapons, except torpedoes, deal 10% more damage. Okay, not bad. Give the Crucible to him. Let him use it to bring worlds in the Imperium's fold. Triumph of Faith. A weapon that once belonged to the Pure Voiced Prophet and was eventually presented to the Rogue Trader of the House von Valancius. On a successful hit with this weapon, the target must make a toughness resistance check with -10 penalty or become stunned. If the target fails the test, this attack has no cooldown. Ooh, and we can give this to, our boy, Pascal, our homie. I wish to hear the opinions of my advisors. I have had ample experience with saintly saviors like him in the past. Whatever great cause they proclaim as their mission, they genuinely, naively believe that people really do need them. If we round up enough orphans and lepers who could trip over themselves to beg our prophet for salvation, he will soon forget all about the crucible and his holy mission. I know a few guilds of professional beggars who would be delighted to offer their services to us. False prophets in the streets are a common occurrence. Their sermons breed turmoil, riots, and acts of disobedience. The Inquisition recommends that such unstable agents be isolated and quietly removed. The archenemy's lies take on many guises, but the Emperor's miracles are 100-fold stronger. On more than a few occasions, he was bestowed epiphanies upon the faithful, even those of the humblest origin. I myself bear the name of a poor orphan who was granted miraculous powers by his grace. So, give me time and I will find you the most loyal agents to escort Brother Pure Voice on his travels. They will keep him safe if he is pure, or punish him should they sense deceit in his words. But I have a feeling that his rebirth is a true wonder. Pure-voiced fame. Means 15 to all of their skill. Holy shit. Hey, yo. Provide the saint with an escort that will accompany him and the Crucible on his mission. I'll get to it immediately. I will choose the best people for this task, the most devoted. Having loaded the Crucible onto the requisitioned void ship, the pure-voiced prophet gathered up his flock and set out for distant worlds to spread his word. The spiritual authority of the Order of Hammer suffered as a result, and the loss of the Crucible sowed substantial unrest among the populace. Before departing, the preacher expressed his appreciation by sending the Lord Captain a gift, a relic that, according to his own claims, once belonged to his previous incarnation. The stern guards selected by Sister Argenta vigilantly provide protection for the prophet, ensuring that his thoughts remain pure. Interesting. We can literally get 2 more things. Hmm. Now we have literally nothing else we can add. Oh, there's this. Rip my comet. It's gone forever now. Sorry, what? The fuck? Personal presence required. Corruption has infiltrated Vabo 6, Lord Captain. The cultists of the Final Dawn have agitated the convicts into a full-blown uprising, promising them a chance at escape. The planet's cargo port and warden facilities are now under siege. The cult conspirators do not personally participate in the assault. Not too long ago, they scurried into the mines, deep into the tunnels rife with Xenos corruption. The wardens report the occurrence of tremors. It seems that the heretics are trying to clear up the cave-ins that we used to ward off the subterranean monster. Why did the cultists go to that particular place? Fortunately, we do not know the true objectives of the heretics, but there is nary a doubt that they are pursuing a sinister and wicked goal and therefore must be stopped. It's the current situation on the surface. The wardens are trapped inside the security facilities, and the convicts are now united by their common hatred for the dynasty and are obsessed with tales of freedom. Crumpled cult banner. Enemies that are targeted by the wearer's psychic abilities must pass a willpower sense or suffer blinded and bleeding. Let the rebels know that if they do not stop the ride, I will bomb them into submission. We will give them something to truly fear. All allies gain 10 coercion. Whenever an enemy enters a 5-star radius around the Rogue Trader or their allies, others may pass a willpower test with a +5 bonus or become staggered for 1 turn. If 2 more allies are close enough to trigger this effect, the enemy must pass this resistance test for each of these allies. Almost a pardon. Mercy of the Repentant. The spared convicts of Vabo 6 will not waste the second chance they have been granted, even if it costs them their lives. They have made a well-disciplined emergency cruise. Flagship suffers minus 40% ram damage less and gains 50% chance to reduce the duration of each internal fire by 1 round. I'd like to hear what my advisors say. Heretics seek out those who are weak in spirit and entice them with promises of salvation. But such spineless lot lacks the resolve to fight and will drop their weapons should someone give them reason to fear. The purpose of many tactics in warfare is to sow terror in the enemy ranks, and I know some of these tactics well. Make them quiver, Hatvater, and these weaklings will forget all about their heinous intentions. Lord Captain, your resources and status allow you to make use of one of the most blunt and affordable tools of all, mercenaries. These dogs of war would even be ready and willing to go inside the warp if you paid them well enough. Provide the wardens with some backup from their ranks, and the crisis will be over in mere moments. Tempered. Oh, no. Tempered by the queries. All lines weapons deal 20% more damage. I don't like those options. I don't want that mercy one. And those will make me have to go back. That's fine. I was basically just messing around with that stuff anyways. New stage of development. Okay. Okay. That was the one that caused like my profits to just plummet. Lord Captain, I bring you new information about the Xenos device that you discovered during your time away. Ever since your return, the tech priests have been making every effort to comprehend the nature of this mysterious technology, and they have succeeded to an extent. After many rituals and pleas to the machine god, they awakened the Xeno artifact. But for about a moment, it produced a holographic copy of a planet and coordinates that matched the location in Legrand's belt. Perhaps you will wish to see with your own eyes what this destination holds. Hmm? Where? Oops. It's beacon. And an Alos. Unidentified ruins. Of course I can go here first. Then we go here. Demonic eyes had materialized, began to slither across the walls. Unforeseen event. I have a thing here? Grand's belt. You're in the ocean. Riddled Capri. Elias. A distress signal. A star. I'm feeling it's not that one. Well, they need to level up a lot. Hmm? smuggler hideout. Once this great vessel was filled with the hums of servo motors and the trill of sacred electrics, but the machine spirit has forsaken this place. This is new.
Curiosity sings in my veins. How intriguing.
Did not expect such turn of events, did you? Thought you could just walk in. Watch your back from now. This is just the beginning. 10, 9, 8, 7.
The power source. That one's like way off.
Hope to see an Azuriani fail.
Help me, Lord Captain. A wicked thought.
Okay.
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
And that was the power source.
What curiosity unveils itself before me?
Twinkies. The particularly strong orcs were hulking impenetrable armor, complete with a lethal weapon not entirely dissimilar to a power claw. Fragment of an orc energy weapon capable of teleporting targets using warp energy, roughly sawed off with a las cutter, cannot be repaired. Strange improvised weapons are laid out on top of the crates, a rocket on a stick, an ugly black and white checkered gun, rusty axes and brass knuckles. Box thief. Jen, did you hear? They're going to bring in another batch of Xenotech. Life is going to be good. Idiot, we still haven't dealt with the previous delivery. The clients don't wish to take risks after the accidents. Who cares? There are people with more money than common sense in every system. You know what matters? That's right. What matters is that we are making mountains of thrones. Got a bad feeling about this. Jen, turn that frown upside down. You'll start looking like our wrinkly supplier lad if you don't. Or is she our supplier lass? Whatever. Oh. Astartes plasma pistol. There's a lot of damage. Holy shit. And hey, we just happen to have our Astartes right here. Damn. Rate of fire 1. We'll test it out, sure. Notice you don't have a ed thing. Can't use jack shit. That's why. For the defense of Cadia.
Keep a sharp eye.
Patience. Oh, my nerves are frayed.
A self-propelled rail carriage that once transported hive residents between stations. Hey, Morak. The sacred armaments of the children of Surian must rest with the fallen, not serve those Monkey scavengers. Needle rifle. Perforated Vox Thief. Hey, Doe, what are you messing with? The big guy said not to touch the goods. Bugger off, Harley, and mind your own business. He has ears everywhere, you know. I said bugger off. I'm not going to rot in this hole until Pug gets his shit together. Thorn take you, Doe. We've already lost 4 men because of this Xenos shit. Put the stones down, mate. What do you say we wet the old whistle instead? Doe, what are you doing? What are you doing, Doe? No. Get away from me. Ah! The shadow auctions attract connoisseurs of forbidden artifacts. A lot this size could earn their owner a full shuttle load of treasures. Hunter's Focus. The wearer gains 25 awareness and plus 20% critical damage from their single shot attacks. Get out of there.
All you've got?
Oh, what? Irlit's face betrays her surprise. When she speaks, there is sadness in her words. How could the spirit stones of my kin end up in such a god's forsaken place? Elantak, please allow me to watch over them. About the stones, Irlit. I could perform a 3-night ballad about the creation of the first stone, but alas, you do not have the luxury of eternity's favor. You should know what is important. The stones shield the spirits of the children of Assyrian from the insatiable thirst of silent thresh after they die. They also enable the ancestors to share their wisdom, even sometimes lending us strength to fight our enemies. Yeah, go ahead. Your words are like a breath of fresh air, Elantak. I will take good care of them. I care she's literally just like, what? Somebody carefully polished shards of Odari rifles and chainswords. There is a label with an individual number attached to every piece. Oh, he died. Rip. The fresh corpse in fancy attire, likely that of an adventurer rather than a smuggler.
There will
Watch
be
your
no
steps.
peace in my wake.
None are better at searching. I have failed my kin.
A tantalizing anomaly.
Your Your style of combat deserves nothing but contempt. Even if you were not Xenos, such a cowardly race would still have no right to survive.
How ugly you are on the inside, monkey. Nothing but a bloodthirsty monster. A curse your people inflict upon more enlightened races.
Oof. They're trading barbs.
I've read about this.
According to the labels, the containers with insulated uniforms and snowshoes were to be delivered to the Astra Militarum quartermaster on the frozen world Zenerag 2. The spiky Xeno chest looks like a chunk of solid rock with no cracks or fractures. One side is decorated with the maw of some hideous creature. Thing here. A Xenos race called Tau employs self-aware machines they call drones. Judging by the marks on the hull, this specimen was gutted quite deftly. I think that's like the first mention of Tau in the game so far.
What lies beyond?
Bergs. The grav bike has been gently washed clean of traces of soot and blood. The attached label reads, "Ordered by Master MLD." The contraption was assembled by a madman. The components do not match one another and only serve to confuse and confound, but you managed to spot the hidden trigger in time. It's a trap. Uh-oh. Save. Monofilament grenade.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
Many things of interest.
They will see. Oh, yes, they all will see.
You managed to make out a Medusa's limb tentacles through the murky glass. The parasite has died, regardless of what it was being kept here for. Empty canisters, dry ration wrappers, and petrified feces. Selma was cooped up here for a long time. Subdued rumbling comes from under the cover of the ancient cogitator, as if the machine's spirits resent being awakened. After a few simple directions from the control panel, the vid screen flashes to life and starts blinking, waiting for your input. Examine the log. The mechanism lazily grinds its gears but grants you access to the requested information. Big Pug. Day 21, third month of the cycle. Now that's what I call good fortune. We hit the jackpot. This Xenos peddler, Strixus, sure did show up in time. The competitors have been popping up like fleas on a half-dead rat. Murd Key has already brought a bunch of rare and exotic shit, and I have never been paid this much for a single order before. Life is good thanks to him, or her, and it's going to get even better. Day 6 of the ninth month of the cycle. It's time to end this. The thrones are coming in faster than I can spend them, but I am starting to lose count of the people who died. Yesterday, I walked past a dozen of my people and couldn't recognize 4. The customers are starting to ask why there's so much blood on the delivery crates. Damned if I believe that crooked-ass Xenos rat again. His deliveries are killing my guys, and there haven't even been any shootouts. Next time Key comes here, he won't be leaving this place alive. I'll make sure of it. List of reports. Received 6 crates of tech upgrades, 4 blocks of Tau firearms, 8 units of miscellaneous Drukhari devices. Sold 7 units of Aldari devices, 5 Orc weapon crates, 3 units of Tau artifacts awaiting delivery. Received 8 crates of Orc armor, 12 blocks of Drukhari blades, 10 units of Aldari devices. Sold 8 units of Drukhari devices, 3 blocks of Tau firearms, 15 units of devices belonging to an unknown race. Interesting. Overhead costs, disposable bodies, keeping an eye on dough. I've got a bad feeling this won't be the last of it. Received 24 units of unidentified artifacts, let them stay unidentified and in my room. Sold 14 units Drukhari, Aldari, and Orc firearms. Stolen? Huh? My own people are stealing from me now? What did that scoundrel Key promise them? I'm going to find out, and there will be trouble. Box recorded conversations. Read that one. Read that one. It's alive! Alive! What? Why are you screaming? That thing! It just latched onto Lufa's face and she went mad! Throne be damned! Cut it off! Cut it off! Hey, guys, what's wrong? We're missing the Drukhari crates, lad. But I was told to look after the sound of several bursts of bolter fire. Run, run, run! What the? Oh, Throne, take me! Enter a different command. Disconnect the power supply to the tracks. The whirring of the obsolete cogitator mechanisms grow into a strained whine, and the crackling of the abandoned tracks abruptly stops. Walk away from the cogitator. Okay. This about tracks? At this? Guessing it was that. Alright. I'm going to stop here for tonight. We're a little bit over time. We shall continue exploring Old Trader Workshop or Warehouse later. But for now,